Okay, hello. So the lesson for this week is on structure, and structure is our very last strand that we've touched on everything except for one. So I'm saving this for last, but it's not that much different than what we've already been doing. It just happens to be the very last piece from the AP Lit curriculum that we haven't covered in one of these lecture videos. And it is 3B. Explain the function of a particular sequence of events in a text. It's connected to 3E, which is explain the function of one significant event or related set of significant events in a plot. And so you're doing something really similar with both, but in the first one you have to identify what kind of structure the text is. So let's go back to that. This is review. This will be something you have to know well going into the AP Lit exam, and you probably do, because this is really pretty basic literary analysis terminology. You have a story, these are the pieces of the story, or what we call the narrative elements. The only caveat I have with this, I clipped the most simple image I could find, is the beginning, yes, but we often use the word exposition there. Exposition just meaning all of the basic details that you need to know the story's foundation. And then, of course, the rising action, which leads to the crisis, which leads to the climax. Falling action, which leads to the resolution or the denouement. This is the linear structure of a narrative. This is presupposing a linear structure. But, as you remember from the Joy Luck Club, there are different narrative structures. And this is 3A, identify and describe those structures. Some narrative structures interrupt the chronology of a plot. Those structures include flashback, foreshadowing, in media res, and stream of consciousness. This slide is straight from the lesson that we had back in November with the Joy Luck Club. And you all took a survey where you tried to identify different narratives and what their structure was. And so 3B is asking you, okay, you've identified that the story is X, Y, or Z. Now, why do you think that is? And put another way, why are certain significant events so important to the structure of the book? This is more review. So these are definitions for those terms that I just whizzed past really quickly. And you could press pause, or you could go to that glossary, which is linked here and on the website. This is also review, but I'm adding in one last little piece here. You can blend different structures together, and a lot of narratives do. So there's a couple of examples. Maybe you've read them, The Sun and the Fury and Gone Girl. But lastly, And Their Eyes Were Watching God. It is a linear structure within a framed narrative. Why? That's 3B. Why is it that way? And to answer this question meaningfully, you are going to, for your creative analysis this week, give an example. Find a significant event, tie it to the larger structure of the book and the larger theme. These are the couple of pieces that you want to take away. First, significant events reveal competing values, and those values collide to create suspense. Significant events reveal competing values, right? In the narrative that you have, whatever the structure is, a big moment in the plot is going to be big because it will reveal a conflict in values. Consequences of those collisions lead to the meaning of the work as a whole. And then secondly, certain plot events have a significant impact on character conflict or thematic idea, which contributes to the theme and the meaning of the work as a whole. These are from the AP Lit curriculum, these knowledge pieces. In my eyes, number 2 is contained in number 1. How do you know which are those certain plot events that are significant? Well, they will impact character, conflict, or theme in a big way. And so as you're trying to identify what are those events that pop out at me from this structure, you're looking for the ones that have a significant event on character, or conflict, or theme. And then you go to number 1. You're wondering what are the competing values that are at work with this. But they're separate in the eyes of the AP Lit curriculum, and I want you to see how AP Lit will take those knowledge pieces, which I've been using this entire course, I'll always give you these knowledge pieces, right from their graders and right from their teachers. And I'm going to show you how they change the language of these knowledge pieces to create your FRQs. So here's what that looks like. Take a moment here to review this slide. So this is going to be your task. I want you to pick one of these two options. And I want you to see the way that knowledge piece has been transformed into the open question, the FRQ3. So for the first one, choose a novel or play, choose Their Eyes Are Watching God, and write a well-organized essay in which you describe how a significant event reveals competing values and how those values collide to create suspense and impact the work as a whole. I can totally see them making that an open question. That is exactly the kind of thing they like to do. And so you take your knowledge piece and you see that transformation. This is great news for all of you. As you see these knowledge pieces coming through in the course, if you feel like they make sense to you, they're intuitive to you at this point, then you're setting yourself up really well for the open question and the kinds of things they can ask you. The second option you have is actually a real FRQ3. It's from 2011. In that exam, the question was, choose a novel or play in which you describe an illuminating, their word, episode or moment and explain how it functions as a casement or a window that opens onto the meaning of the work as a whole. Put another way, choose a significant plot moment and explain why it is significant. Right? So these are similar, and it's okay if you can't decide because they feel too similar. You can just pick one arbitrarily in that case. There is a slight difference in what it is you're expected to be doing, but I'm only asking you for a paragraph, so they might feel very, very similar. A single paragraph where you try to just figure out what would you say if that were FRQ3. In one paragraph, what would be your big idea that you would focus on? That is the creative analysis around structure for this week. I've done that slide. So let me know if you have questions. I think that as we go back through these strands, I'm encouraged because we really have done them all. Even 3B, explain why certain events in the structure might pop out at you. That feels like something we've done before. And I hope for you at this point in the course too, it feels like review.